And we're bringing up a guy, by the way. He's like a Clark Griswold clone. But you guys know him for his calls, those beautiful pipes, and those good looks. We're talking about Tim Brando with Fox Sports. He joins us right now. Timmy B, thanks for coming on board.
Gee, after that introduction, I'm blushing, and that's hard to get to happen. That's pretty good, Pete. King, it's good to be with both of you guys, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all of that to you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you joining the show. With Tim, let's start with the Iowa State Cyclones. They are set to face 10-2 Miami in the Pop-Tarts Bowl on December 28th. Can the 3-3-5 defense of Iowa State slow down Cam Ward?
Well, I don't know that the 3-3-5 defense is going to stop Cam Ward, but my question will be: is Miami going to are they going to be able to deal with the trifecta of running backs that Iowa State will try to gouge them with? And let's not underestimate, what the Cyclones quarterback can do, because Rocco Beck has been one of the more consistent leaders of any football team that I've seen this year. They uncharacteristically turned the ball over a lot in the Big 12 championship game, and their defense got pummeled, not so much in the air, but on the ground by Scatterbo, who is a tremendous back. And it was proven in that game that as good as John Haycock is as a defensive coordinator, the 3-3-5 was not going to handle Arizona State that day. I think with Cam Ward, the task is perhaps a little bit easier if you can make him a passer, not a runner. Now, that means some adjustments have got to be made. Ward is a transformational quarterback. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But Miami is not a team that consistently gets it done in other areas. In other words, if you force somebody besides Ward to beat you, then that's when you have a really good chance of even coming back from a big deficit, as was the case for Syracuse with Kyle McCord in the game that undoubtedly cost Miami a chance to be in the college football playoff. I think this is a classic matchup, a chess match, really, of really what Miami is all about versus what Iowa State's culture is. And this is a culture game for a program that really got the most out of its team all year and then laid an egg in the second half of the Big 12 title game. I think it's going to be close, and I think Iowa State's got a real shot.
Well,
no doubt about it.
A big marquee matchup, Tim, as we move on. BYU and Colorado in the Valero Alamo Bowl. That's two teams that are tied at the top of the Big 12. We thought we might have seen them in the championship game. We're seeing them now in this bowl game. What are you looking forward to in this one?
Well, the bottom line on this game is will BYU be able to contain explosives? The team that has the most explosives generally wins whenever you're playing Colorado. You've got to match their explosive plays. Shador's arm is so good, and Travis Hunter is such an incredible player on both sides of the ball. Sometimes their explosives happen on defense, not just offense. And I think that puts a lot of pressure on Kalani Shitaki's team to try to keep the ball away from the Buffaloes for as long as they possibly can. Not an easy task. But Retzlaff has been pretty consistent for them. It's similar, I think, to the plight of BYU. It is to what Iowa State's got to do against Miami. Miami is the team that's more dynamic, the team that has more explosives, generally speaking. When we say explosives, we're talking about plays of better than 15 to 20 yards on the ground and beyond 25 yards in the air. Those are what we call explosives. And I think the Buffaloes, that they're a Jekyll and Hyde in the sense that if they're getting those plays on offense, it improves them defensively. Warren Sapp has done a great job with that defensive front. They do put a lot of pressure on, and if he doesn't get the time to throw the ball when he has to, BYU can be on their heels. I like Colorado in the game, but BYU still has a puncher's chance if they can control the football, slow the game down somewhat.
Tim, let's take it to my alma mater, the Baylor Bears, one of the hottest teams in college football. They draw the SEC, I guess, blue blood, even though they're purple, in LSU for the Kinder's Texas Bowl on New Year's Eve. What have you seen from Sawyer Robertson this season?
Well, I had them early when they were struggling. As a matter of fact, they got a big lead, 2-touchdown lead at Iowa State. And then John Haycock's team was able to figure out some of what they were doing. And they got routed in the latter stages of the third quarter and the fourth, and Iowa State got a big win. But the pendulum was already beginning to turn for Baylor, I felt, coming into that game. A lot of folks in Waco that were concerned, and I've got a lot of friends there that I talk to on a regular basis, they were concerned for Dave Aranda. Everybody likes Dave, but, at some point you got to win. I said, I think you guys are missing out on what's really happening here. Baylor is not that far away. They just have not made plays when plays were there, okay? There's an old saying in basketball, King, you can identify with it. You got to make your layups. You can't miss layups. And in football, you get layups too, okay? You got an open receiver on a curl or on a dig route, and you miss him. And sometimes it was because of adrenaline early in the game. Maybe Sawyer was pressing a little bit. But once he got command of that offense, and I said before the loss to Iowa State that I thought that was a team that was going to continue to win. And they went on a rampage after that game. They started streaking, started winning a lot of games to get themselves to a point where they could play a team like LSU in this bowl game. So I think it's very meaningful. And I think the game probably means more to Baylor than it does to LSU. And listen, in all of these games, fellas, beware of the portal. Because in any game that is not a college football playoff game, the portal factor is an issue. I don't know if you saw it, but the entire Marshall team, apparently, after its coach left for Southern Mississippi, has decided they're going to go in the portal. Poor Tony Gibson, the old West Virginia defensive coordinator, is coming in. He doesn't know if he's going to have a team next year. He's got to start from scratch like Dion did at Colorado. But I think that Nussmeier, the story on him as to whether he's going to return, how many of those players from LSU are going to be back, because they're going to attack the portal this season from a defensive standpoint. LSU is very susceptible, and I think Baylor has a very good chance of winning this game simply because of the unknown factor with regard to just how many guys are going to suit up that we know about for LSU in that game.
All right, last question. Arizona State, the number 4 seed in the college football playoff. They await the winner of Clemson and Texas. I've been praising the Sun Devils all season long. How impressed are you by what Kenny Dillingham's team has accomplished?
Well, as great as Scattaboo is, and as I said once in a game, Pete, you'll love this, Scattaboo, Scattacan, Scatadid, Scatta touchdown. Okay, he's unbelievable. That kid is unbelievable. If not for Ashton Genty, he would be, I think, heralded as the best running back in college football this year. But the thing that Dillingham has really done, think about this, okay? Shine, the coach in Oregon, was able to inherit Bo Nix, who by the time Dillingham was done with him, had become a pro quarterback, a first rounder. He inherited a first rounder. Dillingham takes Levitt, turns him into what? A big-time quarterback to go with Scattaboo, which has enabled Arizona State to become a much more well-rounded offense than they were. I mean, they were playing with a 4th-string quarterback halfway through the season last year because of injuries. This job he's done is incredible. Not only will Arizona State win that game, whoever they play, I don't care if it's Clemson or Texas, they're going to win that game. Arizona State is going to shock the world in the college football playoff. I see a lot of upsets. I like Indiana against Notre Dame. I like upsets. I think Tennessee can beat Ohio State. So I believe Arizona State is in a great position. The bye that they got by virtue of winning the Big 12, that's only going to give them more time to scheme and be ready. So I don't care who they play, Texas or Clemson, Arizona State wins.
All right, Timmy B. I mean, it is Christmas time, and you came bearing gifts. Well, we appreciate you so much. Fox Sports' own, one of the best play-by-play guys of all time. And by the way, one of my favorite follows on X, Tim Brando. He is always open 24/7. Thanks a lot, Timmy B.
Thanks, Tim.
Great to be with you, fellas. Mele Kalikimaka.